What's happening, y'all? It's your boy Zell, and welcome back to Get Right or Get Wrong. Know how to bring it out. It's getting kind of cold out here. Make sure y'all hit that sub button for your boy on the way in. Shout out to the homie Ultron. He always sending me some topic ideas and some reaction videos. So I'm about to check this out. This video was called "Nobody Wants to Work a 9 to 5, 80 hours a week." I mean, just off that title alone, I agree with it. But let's see what he's talking about, though.
Whatever you're going through, just understand there's a lot of people going through it as well. Now, my previous video, I was talking about 80 hours a week, and it's always mixed feelings when it comes to working that many hours. But like I said, it's all relative. Of course, we don't want to have to work so many hours, but we have to be realistic. Most of us don't have the circumstances to be able to work 30 hours, 20 hours, 40 hours a week and live some lavish lifestyle, or what we all refer to as comfortable.
That is a fact, and the fact that people are complaining about just working 40, he talking about 80. Um, Average, I'm saying average for me, 50, 60 hours a week, and being that where I work at right now is peak season, you ain't got a choice. Now I had a choice. I was running up this bag, so it is what it is for me. But you got a lot of people crying at my job. Man, I ain't trying to do all that. You don't have an option. It's called MET, mandatory overtime, mandatory extra time. But now they're trying to call it set schedule extra time or whatever. But yeah, man, some people don't even want to do 40. Some people don't want to do. I forgot what they had to do to qualify for food stamps. 80 hours in a month. People didn't even want to do that. Sad.
We have to be honest with our upbringing. We have to be honest with our shortcomings. We have to be honest with our opportunities that we either seized the moment or we didn't seize the moment due to fear, anxiety, whatever it is, because these things play a major role. When you don't apply yourself during a state of fear, sometimes you miss out on opportunities. When you listen to other people who give you advice but don't have the results that match their advice, you miss out on opportunities. Some people get offended. However, the results is the priority, because if you convince me or you try to convince me of something but you don't have the results to match, I'm not going to believe you. Now, over time, you grow into this state of mind, because when you're young, you just look up to people that's older than you and their family members, right? However, once you keep moving, you understand that life is just not about listening to your family. We love to regurgitate the same information generation after generation after generation. Pay attention to who's successful. People lie.
Okay, let me stop him there because that is a fact. I gotta agree with that because I have a lot of family members that literally tell me all the time, "You work too much," and it blow me away because I would think they had the hustle that I have. I'm thinking maybe this in my DNA, this in my genetics. It's like it's in me, man. You got that hustle in you. That is far from the truth. There's a lot of people saying me working 50, man, that's too much. You work 10 hours a day? I'm like, yeah. 50 to 60 hours, so that means you working I'm like, yeah. I would work more if I could, but where's my off day? You know what I'm saying? But I don't know the way Amazon going. I would be surprised. They already got us working 11-hour days. I won't be surprised if they try to skip it to 12, 13, 14. You never know. My job is unpredictable sometimes. But yeah, I gotta agree with that. All of us ain't got it in us. Even the OGs above us. A little few of them, but some of them, they hear the time you work, they be like, "I'm tired for you." I'm like, I don't know why, because I'm not tired.
Because they don't want to be called out on their bullshit, or they lie because they don't want to admit that they were wrong. However, results is number one. Doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter how grandma feel, grandpa, mom, dad. Results is number one. You can reach the level, you can reach the results, but you have to understand mindset is first and being realistic with yourself is second. You have to live as if you already have an abundance, because everything you need to succeed is right around you. However, everything else to slow you down is also there too. You conquer the morning, you conquer the day. If you can get past what's holding you back in your environment, then you can seize the moment in your environment and utilize everything in your environment to get to where you want to be. However, you have to understand, just because you love people, you love your community, you love your family, you love where you come from, that does not mean you also hate your people, love your family, love your community where you come from when you start to do things differently, when you go against the grain 80 hours a week. Oh, you're crazy to do that. And then when you become successful, now people tend to do what? Oh my God, I'm so proud of you.
This is a fact, bruh. Like, since I got this computer, and I'm not saying this to like try to like backhand people, but I'm telling you, once I got this computer and they start seeing the stuff around me, they like, I didn't know you was doing it like that. Like, shout out to my nephews, love them to death. Like, they used to come to my apartment and it was like, I won't say it was basic, but it didn't really have too much going on. I had the lights, I had a big TV, you know, the system and all this stuff. But once I start raking that money in, so I'm trying to tell you, man, money will make you become the person you really are. And me, I'm not trying to say I'm a materialistic person, but hot I got hot taste. It's expensive taste. You feel what I'm saying? I think I'm saying that right. And buying stuff like this, like a computer or a tablet, stuff like that, I can utilize that for me, being that I do content and stuff like that. But I've seen people, man, I want a computer now. Now everybody I know get computers. Now they want one. Now they want one. Sometimes it just take one person to show people, look, this is possible. But you gotta get your ass up and go to work. I know everybody like to drink. You already know, Zell is a drinker. I know people like to snort or snout, whatever you say, you know, woof the ball, whatever, sip the lean, you know, smoke the weed, pop the pills. All right, because I know some functioning drug addicts, yeah, functioning drug addicts. They get their ass up and go to work. You know what? They want that cocaine. They want that whatever. Or if you like me and you got goals you want to accomplish, you got to get up. I want to get this. I want to get some more lights back here. I want to do something. I have to work. I want to bring my credit card limit down. I'm almost done paying my credit card off. Thank you, Lord. But I had to bust my ass to do that while maintaining my rent, car note, electric, phone bill, insurance, all that stuff. So, like he said, you got to be realistic. You be saying, like, oh, I don't want to work 40, I don't want to work 80, I don't want 50, 60. You don't have a choice, nigga. You do, but in a sense, if you want these goals to be accomplished, that's where it is on the, you don't have a choice unless you want to take your ass like everybody else to go to the store and try to hit the lottery. Or find you a rich girl or something like that. Do some side hustles, a lot of Uber Eats, but it's gonna be wear and tear on your car. Some people do rentals, but I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. It's mandatory. You don't have a choice. If you're trying to get shit done, you're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to rich yourself.
A lot of people are not living in reality. You want to be entrepreneurs. I said this already. You want to have all these companies. You want to be so successful. You want to brag. You want to be egotistical. However, right here in this moment, you can't control that ego and that pride and do the work. Who you work for probably worked 80 hours a week to build the job or the business to be able to hire you to work for them. If you didn't apply to that job, you wouldn't have a job. However, if they thought like you, the people that don't want to work, they wouldn't have the business to be able to hire the people that do want to work. And I always say, each one teach one. Most companies hire people, and the people that they hire, if they have the intelligent mindset, they will learn from the business that they work for and then go off and start their own company. That comes with financial literacy, because when you're making that money, you need to be able to save that money, apply knowledge that you've acquired by working for that company to then go off and build your own business. At least go through the process, the failure. Failure is a part of success, while also
Facts.
maintain a level head to understand you cannot stop. Once you start, you have to keep going. Once you go down that rabbit hole, it's hard to turn around. But if you're going down a rabbit hole of success, it's just an analogy I'm using, you shouldn't want to turn around. But you got to understand, you're going to have to adapt. That comes from moving away from things that's been common in your community,
Comfortable.
in your immediate circle, your family. You, me, most of us, we're listening to regurgitated information. It's the same thing over and over and over again from people who haven't succeeded or wanted to succeed but didn't. And instead of admitting that they didn't know or their ego got in the way, they then cope and say, It's not worth it, or don't do it.
That is true. That is true. It's too many crybabies in the world, especially with us men. I'm hearing more men cry about stuff than females. Again, salute to my homie Lulu. This is a female that bust her ass, man. Real talk. And she's a mom. Ain't no fucking excuses. She up there doing 50, sometimes 55 hours. She getting it in. So when I hear niggas talking about, man, I'm about to leave early. To do what? Nigga, get high? Get under some chick? To pay her your bag? You probably like the number 5 nigga in the phone. Know how many niggas she talked to? Come on, man. We got to get it together. I just had a situation today. I just put on my Instagram about a nigga getting his shit thrown out in the hallway, man. Y'all better stop trying to get y'all nose out these girls' asses and titties, bro. You need to put your nose in some money. Because once you got the money, the hoes gonna come to you. Stop going to the hoes.
Some of them, they're even jealous and envious, so they try to talk you out of it, because how dare you go and achieve or attempt to achieve what I couldn't achieve, but I know deep down I want to.
True.
This is how people operate. We say the world is competitive. I think the world is more jealous and envious versus competitive, because if you're competitive, you just compete. Some people like to talk down. They call it advantage. It's not an advantage, it's insecurity. Some people like to get you away from what you are so obsessed with, because it reminds them that they lost their obsession and their passion with whatever they wanted to do, and they're in a circumstance they don't want to be in, and they're just going through the.
It's the crabs in the barrel mentality, pretty much what he's saying. Like, yeah, I couldn't reach that star, but I see you about to grab it. Let me grab it and let you know. Man, you can't reach that star, man. Let me just help you come back down. You ain't about to grab that shit. Nah, let me go, nigga. You gave up. You ain't want to put in the work. You got tired. You start crying about everything. And instead of just holding your nuts in your hand, especially as a man, and getting your ass up and go push yourself. Again, I just told everybody a few episodes ago, I'm about to go for another trade. I failed. Like he said, to have success, you got to have failure. I failed doing the CDL thing. It didn't work for me. I made it all the way through. But like I said, I'm not making no excuse, but they did change the laws in Ohio and change the whole course for us. There was no maneuvers this way, none of that. The offset, none of that. The parallel straight back. They put it all in one course for us. And then we had to do a bumper test, and then we had to do a rear bumper test and make sure it was in a square. The whole thing changed. So it was a recipe for disaster. Me and my whole class failed that thing. But hey, I'm about to do another trade, and I'm about to try to do mechatronics. I like working with my hands and using computer stuff. Shouldn't be that hard. And like I said, Amazon ain't guaranteed for all of us, man. You already see what they doing to the big dogs. You don't think they gonna trickle down to us? Let Amazon pay for your trade, whether it's IT or anything else, truck driving. If you want to do that, check out what they offering to pay for and put you in school through. Now, mine is gonna take 900 hours. It is what it is. It'll start in January. I won't be done until September of next year. I don't care. You got to make a move. It's kill or be killed, eat or be eaten.
Motion through life. We love to say everybody can't. It's not that everybody can't. It's everybody will not. Everybody can, but not everybody will. Can everybody be rich? It depends on what you consider rich. But I'll tell you this. Everybody don't need to have the same exact amount of money to be rich. If you make $30,000 right now, if you can get to $300,000, just consider yourself rich. You're 10 times better than you was. But you know what people who do that do? They go from 30 to 300,000, and I know you're always going to want more. However, it's the mindset of not comparing yourself. The moment you get to 300,000, you start to remind yourself of somebody out there with 3 million. Now pay attention to this. The person that has 3 million, they're reminding themselves that somebody out there with 30 million. This is where it becomes everybody can't. Stop watching everybody. Stop comparing yourself to everybody. But most importantly, stop listening to the same regurgitated information that everybody's passing down. Everything you need is right around you. You just don't see it. People leave clues. You drop an opportunity. You walking past opportunities. But because you're always going back to the same regurgitated information that families passed down for generations from people who have not succeeded but wanted to, you're going down the same path, doing the same thing everybody else is doing, but expecting different results. If I'm not wrong, they call that insanity.
And another thing is worrying about what other people are doing. That's one of the biggest things I see at my job and in real life. On the internet, I see it everywhere. It's too many people worried about what somebody else is doing. instead of focusing on their own little circle, they own the mirror. You need to be focused on you. Now, thankfully, I'm at the age I am. I didn't have no kids. I didn't move with no chick and nothing like that. Am I behind on on life? Yes, but could it be worse? Yes. I consider myself lucky to be alive. You know, no felonies, good credit, working, got my own spot, and it's only up from here. And how I did that, I focused on myself and I pushed myself. I stopped listening to everybody like, man, I wouldn't do that many hours. Man, I wouldn't waste my time doing this, going to school. Won't you do it this way? Like, don't tell me how to do it. If I feel like I want to do it this way, this is the way I'm going to do it. Whatever I see work, that's what I'm going to do. It's working. 2026, I'm telling y'all, fellas, get your own spot. I'm going to tell you, like that shit I seen earlier coming home from work, own apartment, house, whatever. You do not need to be living with no chick, man. Get the titty out your mouth.
So 80 hours a week for y'all that's working 80 hours a week, continue. But plan it. Eat healthy, drink water, sleep. You have to, because you're not going to be able to do it forever. But then you want to move away from that by utilizing the funds, the resources, to then put it in certain things. A lot of people are going to tell you investing won't make you rich because you need a lot of money. However, it's about having money in general, not just being rich. Because if you don't do it, you won't have anything when you're 60, 70, 80 years old and you can't work. Which is why some people preach, when you're young, work hard. It doesn't matter if you want to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, scientist, whatever it is. You got to go hard when you're young, because once you turn 40, 50, 60, 70, I won't even say 40, specifically mid 50s, late 50s, early 60s, on up to 70s, 80s, you cannot output
It's a wrap.
what
Yeah.
you used to when you were younger. That work ethic, you can have the mindset, but your body will say no. You wouldn't even want to do it because it would be extremely uncomfortable. But when you're 20, when you're 30, you could pretty much, like I always use, people get drunk, wake up and go to work like nothing happened last night. They only slept 2-3 hours.
That is me all day. Hell no. I feel like he talking directly toward me. You know how many times I done went to work off the 2-3 hours of sleep and you still feel that liquor at work? Like, oh my God. But nigga, if you don't go to work, your rent is not getting paid. That car, they about to come take that car. You got to push yourself. So you got to smack yourself and hit the reset button and learn from your mistakes. But I ain't gonna lie, I had multiple mistakes, but that one was funny. Yeah, you got to push yourself. Whether you party all night, had sex all night, whatever you did, you knew what you was getting into, and you knew you had to go to work in the morning. Get your ass up, hungover and all, and pray to God that He can wear it off of you. Get a lot of bottles of water, get some Gatorade, get some electrolytes, and shake that shit off. Work it off.
Yes, it's bad, but the fact that you can do it is because you're young. When you turn 50, 60, 70, you can't even do that. Some people can't even do it in their late 30s, early 40s. But apply that knowledge and understand you only got right now. You only need right now. Everything is in front of you right now. If you're not putting in the work, what's holding you back? You can't say it's people, society, the government. It's you. Just be
That's over
honest.
with. Yeah, ain't no
It's
excuses.
you allowing people to give you information, regurgitated information, advice that don't have results, people that don't want to see you succeed. However, you so in fear of failure. You got to understand failure is a part of success. Keep going. Consistency, perseverance, persistency. It doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people are going to start below you as far as support, foundation, opportunity, and they're going to pass you because they're not going to let the fear of failure outweigh the chance of success. They know how much success means to them and their families. They're grateful. They have humility. They're not arrogant, egotistical. They're not too prideful to understand that most things we learn is not going to help us today. And they go
Facts.
for it. Now I'm going to bring up an
I want to interrupt him one more time. I wish I could ask a raise of hands how much of the stuff in school you were taught that you use today. Let's just be honest. A lot of stuff that we learned at school, we don't even use today. Only thing I think school really needs to teach you is probably how to read, count, common sense, business, sex type shit, that too, and stuff like that. But like, who invented the peanut butter and all this other shit, like stuff. I mean, that's it. I won't say it's important to know. It's okay to know, but it's a lot of stuff in school that they taught us that we do not use nowadays. We don't. there are some people that went to college right now and they overqualify for every job that they apply for, or there's no jobs that need them in the field of study that they went into. It's a new day, man. Just having this thing right here can make you a shit ton of money if you know what you're doing. Like I said, I was on the way up, but like I said, I made an error. It is what it is. I'm over that. It's a new day, new year, new zeal, new knowledge. I'm moving a little different. So, see me. Somebody would have lost their YouTube channel. They gave up, said, I don't care no more. Fuck it. Like, no, I'm gonna keep pushing. Cause this is what I do.
Example, it's a lot of stuff going on revolving an ex MMA fighter and his son. I'm not gonna say any names because it's you guys will know who I'm talking about if you know. However, when you look at that circumstance, it's a lot of men raise their sons how their dad raised them. However, we come from a different time. I talked about this. Also, a lot of men use their environment to determine how the kid will be when the man, the father, should understand his place to move his child from an environment or at least mold his child in any environment to understand what that child needs to do and how that child needs to apply himself to go past that environment. Else, it's the same regurgitated process. It's the same regurgitated mindset. This happened to us, so this is just us. You give in, you quit, you don't keep going. That trickles down from generation to generation. And as a man, I'm a father, I'm a husband and a father. I can't allow myself to just give in like that. Now I'm gonna tie it back to 80 hours a week. I can't just work 80 hours a week and then expect that this is the lifestyle forever. But I also can work 80 hours a week and understand that most people in my immediate family, community circle, immediate circle where I come from, the people I love, don't understand anything about investing. So I need to apply the knowledge of investing. I talked about this in the previous video. Move how rich people would move. Stay how you are as we consider ourselves loving and caring poor people. I don't even like the rich and poor analogy. You don't need a gift to be a good person. You don't need someone to promise a reward at the end of your life to be good. You don't need the Santa Claus. You don't need to be promised a gift as a child to behave. You don't need Jesus to let you into the gates of heaven to behave. It's a choice. Now make a choice to acquire knowledge. Although people are programmed to think like that, understand some of us are programmed to think, do the bare minimum, cry, complain, we're victims. You may be a victim. However, history is safe where it's at. You may come from shortcomings. However, you can't go back and change that. If you're born into poverty, it's not your fault. If you die in poverty, it's your fault. Rich or poor, I'm just using an analogy.
Ooh, he cooking right there. He said, if you're born in poverty, it's not your fault. But if you die in poverty, it's your fault. We can all change. I don't come from a good neighborhood. I come from two different hoods. 146 in St. Clair. I know St. Clair, that sounds familiar, right? Because Bone Thugs and Harmony is from East 99th in St. Clair. I'm from 146 in St. Clair / East Cleveland. Both of those neighborhoods are fucked up. But I made it out. I went through some shit. Sure. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lie. You know, and most of the dudes I grew up with, we don't really see eye to eye because they decided to stay where they were. They didn't escape the hood mentality. Now, it's a handful of us. Some of them got their own businesses or whatever, or doing their own thing. But majority of them, no, a lot of those niggas just stayed where they was. And sadly, they probably going to die that way. But some of us like, man, bro, we not about to sit around smoking weed and drinking bottles, chasing hoes all day. It's more to life than this. It's more than gang banging, having flags out your pocket and shit like that. And I'm not talking down on people if that's your, because some people that's their lifestyle, but even people that was born into that, even they escaped that shit, you know. But I'm just saying that was a deep little quote. You born into poverty. It's not your fault, but if you die in poverty, that's your fault.
It's the mindset. Why don't you approach life? Attack, attack, attack. Keep going. Whatever someone say you can't do, do it. Because what I've realized, and I think it's a study on this, when people tell you you can't do something, that makes you want to prove them wrong more than if they wouldn't have said anything. However, what's really happening is you're trying to prove yourself right. You're trying to prove to yourself you can. Take that, take the comments, take the people trying to belittle you, take the jealousy, take the envy, take your shortcomings and where you come from and apply that to yourself and say, you know what?
Throw it in the
I'm
fire.
gonna do this because I can. Everybody can, but not everybody will. But you can. Who's stopping you? It ain't me. It's not the family. It's not the haters. It's you. Why? Because that fear, you're allowing that fear to overtake opportunity. Right now, everybody has an opportunity. Are you taking advantage of it or are you not? You have to answer that question yourself, because no matter if you understand what I'm saying wholeheartedly, I can't do the work for you. You
No, y'all hate when I pause it, but it's a reaction video. And that's another thing. What's up with these people that's letting a whole video play and then talk at the end? That's not a reaction video, bro. Like, but whatever. I can't tell people what to do. When he says take advantage, if you are at Amazon like me, career choice is what he's pretty much saying in our language. Take advantage. It costs $0 out of your pocket. They are going to pay for your trade. Boy, if you don't take that opportunity to do that shit, I don't give a fuck if you're a man or a female. You better take that. Because them trades that they try to give us is going to pay us way more money than Amazon. I'm telling you now. You better go for it. I already made my mind up. I'm doing it.
You can't do the work for me. But I'm telling you, as a man, wake up and just go and do shit. It doesn't matter what anybody think. It doesn't just have to be 80 hours a week. It can be anything. Wake up and do it. Don't let nobody tell you what you can and can't do. Don't let nobody tell you can't get rich from investing. Don't let nobody tell you you can't start an online business. Don't let nobody tell you you can't go find a caring woman to become your wife. Don't let nobody tell you you shouldn't have kids. But understand this, whatever decision you make, you have to deal with the consequences.
Facts.
This is just grown man talk. I don't think belittling men, belittling boys is a part of raising men to be boys. Yes, somewhere in there, tough love. But we got to tone that shit down when it comes to it's always tough love. You don't necessarily have to break somebody down to build them up. What you can do is remove the parts that's holding them back so they can build themselves up by seeing the true potential in themselves. You do that by leading by example first, and then conversations like this. Who's stopping you? Just you. Sometimes you have to hear that over and over again. Nobody's really stopping you. You woke up this morning and did whatever the hell you wanted to do, didn't you?
Shout out to a rapper, what's his name, Lil White. He had a song, but it was played backwards. But being that I'm one of those curious people, I Googled what was said in the song. It was a song called Suicide. That's what the song is called. And at the end, the voice is like, but he was pretty much saying, this is just a song. I know people go through it and want to do this, but 99% of your problems are self-made. So like this man is saying, the only person stopping you is you. Look in the mirror. I said, like I said, I had to talk to family. I had to talk to some ex-friends, some lovers. Let them know 2026 belongs to me. I just turned 37 years old. I'm knocking on 40's door. I'll be damned I'm going to be in the same position that I am in the next 3 years. No, I refuse. I refuse. I need all my me time. No distractions. Tunnel vision.
You probably had a process or you had something to do that you prioritized because you're a responsible human being. However, nobody told you you can and can't do. And if somebody did, you accepted that. You could have told them, go to hell. It's all on us. It doesn't matter. 80 hours a week, 40 hours a week. Hell, no hours a week. You got to deal with whatever decision you make, because at the end of the day, it's your life. How are you going to tell somebody else how to live their life and how someone else is going to tell you how to live yours? And it's just a perspective. This is not advice, but think about it. If you wake up and say, I'm going to do it and do it every day, no matter how it feels, no matter where you start, as long as you finish, and you will, who can stop you? The only person is you. You guys let me know in the comment section what you think.
Okay, that guy's name was Linvo Williams. Shout out to him, and shout out to Ultron for sharing that with me. That I needed to hear that, man. I think a lot of us need to hear that, especially us men that feel like we stuck and we just stuck in this little corner. Like, no, man, the only thing stopping you was you. So it's time to lace up your boots and make the shit do what it do, man. But make sure you like, share, subscribe. Let me know what y'all thought about that video. I thought it was fire. That ain't the first time I seen him. Ultron sent me another video from him too. It's been a while though. That was on my old account, so I kind of forgot. But I will catch y'all later. I'm about to go ahead and upload this up for y'all. And I think I'm about to do a reaction video to some music tonight. Stay tuned.